Syncing the list of rooms with Firebase. All right. Doesn't sound so bad. So the list of rooms is in main.js again, right here. If we want to sync this with Firebase, we probably should put component did mount in here, just like we did in chat, right? The other one where we have something that we're syncing with Firebase. Component did mount. That will run right after this component is rendered for the first time. We're going to need rebase, so let's import base from /base. That's the thing that we exported, the rebase class that we exported from base.js. Then base.sync state. First argument is the endpoint. Let's just call it rooms. Seems legit. Second argument is an options object. We need context, which will just be this. We need to tell it which property on state we're syncing as a string, that is rooms. In other words, which key here, this.state.what, this.state.rooms. We had as array last time, but that isn't necessary this time because it's actually an object, not an array. Last time I think we put a reference here, right? So we could say rooms ref equals base.sync to state. Save that on the class, not as a variable. This.rooms ref equals base.sync state. And then you could put a component will unmount. Come on. There we go. And say base.stop. Is it stop syncing? Is that what it is? Remove binding, thank you. That's it. Remove binding. This.rooms ref. And what's that going to do? Right now it shows me no rooms, right? We have none in Firebase, and the ones that we set initially here will get blown away as soon as we start syncing. So what if we took this object, just put an empty object in there. I remember from the documentation, one of the other options to sync state was default value. A default value to set when the Firebase endpoint has no value on it. So if you want something other than an empty object or empty array, you could say default value. I could set that to these 3 rooms or just 1 room or whatever, just so there's something. How about we just make it the 1 room, just general, just to make sure that there's more than absolutely nothing. What if we do that? Then there is, in fact, 1 room there. But if we look at our data, rooms still isn't here. Also, the one I have in here right now is one that doesn't exist. So I should at least maybe make these match for the moment. So how can we tell if this is even syncing? Well, one thing we could do, let's go ahead and add, even though it's not the homework item we're on, add a form to create new rooms. We could at least add the method that creates new rooms, so we have an easy way to test whether it is in fact keeping this in sync with state. Or we could just call sync state, or set state from the console. How about that? All right. React Dev Tools. This is main, right? Main is where rooms is. So let's just set rooms. Okay, let's put random in there. How's that? General's the one we've got in there now. If we set a variable called rooms with random in it, and then we say this dot set state, $R, right? Dot set state, capitalized correctly. Rooms. Okay, now that's there. And sure enough, it synced it. If I delete that from Firebase, it goes back to the default value, which was just general. So interesting thing to note about default value, if you use that in sync state, it does not put this stuff in Firebase. It does put it in your state, but only until there's something else to sync. Only until there's new data one place or the other. So if this is how you want to start it or not, I don't know. Once we get a couple steps further, we might find a better way. But for now, we can see that it is, in fact, syncing them if there's something there. So for right this second, just so there is actually something in Firebase that's being synced, how about I do this? I'll say rooms equals that. I'll get my general room there. I'll set state with that. So now I've got my general room, and it's actually in Firebase. You can get rid of the default value if you want. I don't know. We'll see how we feel about that long term. Trying to think ahead a little bit. We can leave this here. We'll leave a default value there, but I'm also going ahead and adding it to the state so that there's actually something to sync. What if we add one the other way? Test the two-way binding. Let's add another one. If I just hit plus here, let's have another one. Name is, what do you guys want to talk about? What do kids today chat about when they chat? Yeah. Anime, all right. Value, name is name. It's room name. Value is anime. Description. Don't call them cartoons. There we go. Yeah, it totally worked. It's syncing. Sync the list of rooms with Firebase. So now these are actually dynamic, coming from a database. Yay.